Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to do a deep dive on something I know a lot of you are thinking about these days, um, Social Security.
Yeah.
There's a lot of excitement.
Right.
There's a lot of information, maybe even a little misinformation going around about potential changes and what they might mean for your wallet.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're going to try to cut through the noise and
Ow.
give you the need-to-know info on Social Security.
Yeah, we've all seen those headlines floating around about a $200 raise.
Right.
And some of them even say that it's going to hit bank accounts this month. And so we're going to unpack all of that and also highlight something that is happening right now that's putting real money in the pockets of a specific group of people. And it all stems from a law that was passed in January, the Social Security Fairness Act.
Okay, you've got my attention. I'm intrigued. Let's start with the $200 promise that seems to be on everyone's mind. And Senator Bernie Sanders has been pretty vocal about that, hasn't he?
He has, yeah, Senator Sanders is a champion for the Social Security Expansion Act, which proposes that $200 monthly increase, and that's a cool $2,400 extra per year.
Wow.
And he's calling for swift action on this. He says that it's essential for millions of Americans.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like something to pay attention to, but you're suggesting it's not quite as simple as some might think.
You're picking up on my careful wording there.
Okay.
So the Social Security Expansion Act has been reintroduced, but it hasn't actually become law yet. And importantly, no other bill that's focused on this $200 boost has passed either.
So if I'm hearing you right, this $200 isn't something that people should be expecting in their bank accounts this month in March.
That is the key takeaway here. And I think it's easy to get swept up in the hype, but we want to make sure that, we're all about clear and accurate information here.
Okay, good to know. So the $200 situation is still developing, but you mentioned that there is something happening right now that is actually benefiting people. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, this is where things get really interesting. Thanks to the Social Security Fairness Act, which was signed into law on January 5th, approximately 3.2 million people are seeing significant increases in their benefits as we speak.
Wow, 3.2 million people.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
So what does this Social Security Fairness Act, what does it actually do?
It's fascinating because it's more about what this law removes than what it adds. And it actually repeals two provisions that have been around for a while. The windfall elimination provision and the government pension offset. We call those WEP and GPO for short.
Okay, I've heard those acronyms before.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of our listeners could probably use a refresher.
Yeah.
Can you kind of break down what those are?
Absolutely. So the WP and GPO essentially reduced Social Security benefits for people who worked in jobs that didn't pay into Social Security, but had their own separate pension plans.
Okay.
And this affected a lot of public servants, teachers, firefighters, public employees in certain states.
So because they weren't paying into Social Security during all of those years of service, their benefits were reduced, even though they probably did pay into Social Security at some point during their careers.
Exactly. It was a double whammy for them. They worked hard, served their communities, and then saw their Social Security benefits docked because of these provisions.
It does seem kind of unfair when you put it that way. So now that these provisions are gone, are they basically getting the full benefits they would have received had they been paying into Social Security all along?
Well, it may not be dollar for dollar what they would have gotten otherwise, but the increases are substantial.
Yeah.
And remember, we're talking about potentially thousands of dollars annually, plus that back pay that I mentioned.
Yeah.
So for a lot of people, this could be life-changing.
Wow.
This could mean being able to stay in their homes, afford health care that they need, or just simply have a more comfortable retirement.
That's really what it comes down to. It's not just about numbers. It's about people's lives and their quality of life. And it makes you wonder, if so many people were negatively impacted by these provisions, why did it take so long to get rid of them?
That's a great question, and it speaks to the complexity of, policy making.
Yeah.
These things don't happen overnight. It often takes years of advocacy and education and consensus building to actually make change happen and get things passed.
So this is a win for all of those people that have been fighting for this for so long.
Absolutely.
But what about people who aren't directly impacted by this particular act?
Yeah.
Is there anything in this for them, or should they just tune out and wait for more news on that $200 increase?
Here's what I find really interesting about this. While the Social Security Fairness Act targets a specific group of people, it really does send a powerful message to everyone.
Okay.
It shows that change is possible and that advocating for your financial well-being can lead to real, tangible results.
I like that it's a reminder that we're not powerless when it comes to this stuff.
Absolutely.
So even if someone isn't a public servant with a separate pension plan,
Right.
this should still be a reason to pay attention and to get engaged.
Right. I think so. It really highlights the importance of understanding the intricacies of Social Security and exploring all of the resources that are available to you. You never know what benefits or programs you might be overlooking that could have a really positive impact on your finances.
Okay, that's a great segue to my next question, because we've talked about the $200 proposal and the Social Security Fairness Act.
Right.
But are there any other potential changes or benefits that people should keep their eyes peeled for? Any hidden gems that you could point us to?
You know, it's interesting you use the word hidden because sometimes the most valuable information isn't hidden at all. It's just a matter of knowing where to look and who to ask.
Right.
And the Social Security Administration website is a treasure trove of information that I don't think a lot of people fully utilize.
That's true. I've been on that website, and it can feel a little overwhelming at times.
Yeah.
Where should people even start?
Well, one of the most powerful tools that's on that website is the retirement calculator. Oh, yeah.
It allows you to estimate your future benefits based on, your work history and earnings.
Okay.
And you can even play around with different retirement ages and see how that might impact your monthly payments. And,
Yeah.
This kind of personalized information can be incredibly valuable for planning your financial future.
That's a great tip. I think a lot of people, myself included, kind of put off thinking about retirement until it feels like it's right around the corner.
Yeah,
But you're right. The earlier you start, the more prepared you'll be.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And the Social Security website isn't just for people who are, nearing retirement. Even if you're decades away from retirement, understanding how the system works and what you can expect can really empower you to make informed decisions about saving and investing and building a secure financial future for yourself.
Okay, that's actionable advice. So listeners, if you haven't already, make a note to visit the Social Security website.
Yep.
And spend some time poking around.
Yeah.
You might be surprised at what you learn and the potential benefits that you could discover. And don't hesitate to reach out to the Social Security Administration directly if you have any questions.
Right.
They have really knowledgeable representatives who can provide personalized guidance and support.
It's really about taking ownership of your own financial well-being, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. The more you know, the better equipped you are to navigate, the complexities of Social Security and really ensure a financially secure future for yourself and for your loved ones.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground already. We've unpacked the reality of that $200 proposal. We've talked about the really significant impact of the Social Security Fairness Act.
Right.
And we've highlighted the importance of being proactive and using the resources that are available to us.
And we've emphasized the potential for positive change.
Yeah.
Whether it's a major shift in policy or just uncovering a benefit that you didn't know existed. Being an active participant in your financial well-being can pay off in both the short and long term.
Absolutely. All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll dive even deeper into this topic. Stay with us.
And we've emphasized the potential for positive change.
Yeah.
Whether it's a major shift in policy or just uncovering a benefit that you didn't know existed. Being an active participant in your financial well-being can pay off in both the short and long term.
Okay, so we've established that the Social Security Fairness Act is making a real difference for millions of people right now.
Right.
Let's dig a little deeper into who exactly is benefiting from this. You mentioned public servants like teachers and firefighters.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Yeah, those are some of the key groups.
Yeah.
The WEP and the GPO often affected those who dedicated their careers to public service and often in roles where Social Security wasn't part of their compensation package.
Right.
They had their own separate pension systems.
So because they weren't paying into Social Security during those years of service,
Right.
their benefits were reduced, even though they probably did pay into Social Security at some other point during their career.
Exactly. It was like a double whammy for them.
Yeah.
They worked hard, they served their communities, and then they saw their Social Security benefits docked because of these provisions.
It does seem a bit unfair when you put it that way.
Mm.
So now that those provisions are gone, are they essentially getting the full benefits that they would have received if they had been paying in all along?
Well, it might not be exactly dollar for dollar what they would have gotten otherwise, but the increases are substantial. And remember, we're talking about potentially thousands of dollars annually, plus that back pay that I mentioned.
Right.
So for many people, this could be life-changing. This could mean being able to stay in their homes,
Wow.
afford needed health care, or simply enjoy a more comfortable retirement.
That really brings it home. It's not just about abstract numbers.
Right.
It's about real people and their quality of life.
Exactly.
And it makes you wonder, if so many people were negatively impacted by these provisions, why did it take so long to repeal them?
That's a great question. And, it speaks to the complex world of policymaking.
Yeah.
These things don't always happen overnight. It often takes years of advocacy, education, and consensus building to get meaningful change passed.
So this is a win for those who've been fighting for this for so long.
Absolutely.
But what about the folks who aren't directly impacted by this particular act? Is there anything in this for them?
Yeah.
Or should they just kind of tune out and wait for news on that $200 increase?
Here's what I find fascinating about this. While the Social Security Fairness Act targets a specific group of people, it also sends a powerful message to everyone.
Okay.
It shows that change is possible and that advocating for your financial well-being can lead to real results.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that we're not powerless when it comes to this stuff.
Absolutely.
So even if someone isn't a public servant with a separate pension,
Right.
this should still be a reason to pay attention and to get engaged.
I think so.
Oh,
It
yeah.
really highlights the importance of understanding the intricacies of Social Security and exploring all the available resources. You never know what benefits or programs you might be overlooking that could positively impact your finances.
Okay, that's a great segue to my next question, because we've talked about the $200 proposal in the Social Security Fairness Act.
Right.
Are there any other potential changes or benefits that people should be aware of? Any hidden gems you can point us to?
It's interesting you use the word hidden because sometimes the most valuable information isn't hidden at all. It's just a matter of knowing where to look and who to ask.
Right.
And the Social Security Administration website is a treasure trove of information that many people don't fully utilize.
That's true. I've been on that website, and it can feel a little overwhelming at times.
It can.
Where should people even start?
Well, one of the most powerful tools on that website is their retirement calculator.
Oh, yeah.
It allows you to estimate your future benefits based on your work history and earnings.
Okay.
And you can even see how different retirement ages might impact your monthly payments. This kind of personalized information can be incredibly valuable for planning your financial future.
That's a fantastic tip.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people, myself included, tend to put off thinking about retirement until it feels closer.
Yeah.
But you're right. The earlier you start planning, the better prepared you'll be.
Exactly. And the Social Security website isn't just for those nearing retirement.
Right.
Even if you're decades away, understanding how the system works and what you can expect can empower you to make informed decisions about saving, investing, and building a secure financial future.
Okay, that's actionable advice.
Yeah.
So listeners, if you haven't already, make a note to visit the Social Security website and spend some time exploring.
Yeah.
You might be surprised by what you learn and the potential benefits you discover.
And don't hesitate to reach out to the Social Security Administration directly if you have questions.
Right.
They have knowledgeable representatives who can provide personalized guidance and support.
It's really about taking ownership of your financial well-being, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And knowledge is the first step.
I couldn't agree more. The more you know, the better equipped you are to navigate the complexities of Social Security and ensure a financially secure future for yourself and your loved ones.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
We've unpacked the reality of the $200 proposal.
Right.
We've explored the significant impact of the Social Security Fairness Act.
Yeah.
And we've highlighted the importance of being proactive and utilizing available resources.
And we've emphasized the potential for positive change.
Yeah.
Whether it's a major policy shift or simply uncovering a benefit you didn't know existed, taking an active role in your financial well-being can pay off in both the short and long term. Whether it's a major policy shift or simply uncovering a benefit you didn't know existed, taking an active role in your financial well-being can pay off in both the short and long term.
It feels like we've been handed a powerful reminder today. Knowledge really is power, especially when it comes to something as important as Social Security.
It's true. And sometimes the most empowering knowledge comes from digging a little deeper, asking the right questions, and not settling for just, a surface level understanding.
You've definitely got me thinking. If 3.2 million people saw their lives change because of a law that a lot of them had never even heard of,
Yeah.
what else might we be overlooking? What other opportunities to boost our financial well-being are out there?
That's the spirit. It's not always about finding some secret loophole or hidden program.
Right.
Often it's about really understanding the nuances of existing programs and maximizing the benefits that you're already entitled to.
Okay, So how do we do that? Where do we start?
Well, I always recommend starting with a really solid foundation.
Okay.
And in this case, that means understanding your own Social Security statement.
Okay.
It lays out, your earnings history, your projected benefits at different retirement ages, and other crucial details.
I'll admit I've glanced at mine, but I haven't really sat down and dissected it.
I get it. It can feel a little dense, but it's
Yeah.
worth taking the time to truly understand, what it's telling you.
Okay.
For example, a lot of people don't realize that delaying retirement, even by a few years, can significantly increase their monthly benefits.
That's a good point. It's easy to get fixated on that magic retirement age, but there is some flexibility there that can really work to your advantage.
Exactly. And once you have a clear picture of your own situation, you can start exploring strategies to potentially boost those benefits even further.
Okay, so what? Give us some examples.
Well, for some people, it might be strategically timing their retirement to maximize earnings and therefore their benefits.
Okay.
For others, it could be considering spousal benefits or even exploring how working part-time during retirement might affect their payments.
So it's really about having a personalized strategy, right?
Yeah.
There's no one-size-fits-all approach.
Absolutely. Your optimal strategy will depend on your individual circumstances, goals, lifestyle choices.
This all makes me think back to something you said earlier about the Social Security Fairness Act kind of flying under the radar. It feels like we're all so busy reacting to the headlines that we miss the opportunities that are right in front of us.
That's such a keen observation. We can get so caught up in the what that we forget to ask the why and how it affects us personally.
Right.
It's like we're all standing in a field of four-leaf clovers, but we're too busy looking up at the clouds to even notice all the luck at our feet.
I love that analogy. It's a great reminder to be proactive, do your research, and take advantage of the resources that are available to us. Who knows what kind of financial well-being we might uncover.
Exactly. It's not just about securing a comfortable retirement. It's about empowering yourself to make informed decisions and to create a future where financial stability isn't a dream, but a reality.
Beautifully said.
Mhm.
Well, on that inspiring note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure exploring this topic with you.
Likewise. And a huge thank you to all of our listeners for joining us today. Remember, knowledge is power, and when it comes to your financial well-being, you hold more power than you might realize. So go forth, explore, and discover all the possibilities.